All right, there we go. We're back. And for the third time, we're doing Millia, and of course, I have the same guy. I have Walter. Say what's up.
Yes. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back.
This is the third time in a row, and yeah,
Uh-huh.
this character has. It's weird. She went from being pretty bad to, and then the next two patches were pretty good for her. Kind of just want to talk about a bit about her. She didn't really get any specific changes to her in like this patch. I know that the she got a buff to. Well, okay, well no, she did get some good changes. She got the Estus change, which was I don't know why they gave that to her, but you know,
Pretty
sure,
crazy.
sure. And then she got the Artemis change, which I think is fine for the most part. But
Mhm.
before we dive into those, I just want to ask, you know, what do you think about Millia this patch in general? Do you think she's stronger than she was before with the changes to like you know wild assaulted characters and you know wrist change and all that?
Yeah. I think like this is the part like okay before we started playing like Domi and I were talking about how good Millia is. This is the part where I just lie and be like, oh, she's bad, whatever. No, she's pretty good. No, she's pretty good. Like I would say like right now, like so far playing this version, I would say she's like a high tier in my opinion because a lot of like yeah a lot of the buffs that she got are like pretty big, and I guess we'll like dive in more deep into detail why like the buffs are like really big, especially the Estus change. But a lot of her worst matchups got nerfed. Like for
Yeah.
example, like Gold Lewis, Pot, she still loses, but it's more doable. Of course, Chaos is like one of her worst, but Chaos is he's kind of doing that to everybody.
Yeah, he's doing it.
So she's looking pretty fucking good right now, honestly.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no, well, let me ask, what were you expecting for, you know, Millia to get this patch? Were you expecting her to get nerfed? Were you expecting her to get buffed? Were you just kind of thinking like just some small quality of lives? You know, what were you thinking? I'm curious.
You know, I was thinking that again, what I wanted 5H to be bigger. But
Yeah.
what the stuff that they gave her, like honestly, I would never have thought about this. Um, but I really like this change. I kind of like this more than what I mean. This is at paper when you first read those patch notes. Yeah, like there's a lot of theories and stuff like oh, like Estus is you know you're much closer, right? It's like oh, what
Yeah.
does that really mean, right? And that always those type of changes always change how the character plays.
Hmm.
Like those small ones, because even like you know obviously her Capel being changed is like one of her biggest buffs that she got because less recovery is like oh like yeah it's gonna be good for doing shit like this, right? And it is, right? Because this is like a stigma, right? But like her change her corner pressure, right? If you don't have a DP, even if you have a DP like Unica, Lucy for example, if they cannot DP this, like let's say I get like this knockdown and I do this, right? Sin can DP this, but
Yeah.
if you don't have a DP versus this character, you cannot do anything about the situation. And that those changes change how the character plays entirely. And I think it kind of is the same thing with Estus because it changed her combos, her meter gain. It's just overall way better. And I thought 5H was gonna get changed, but this is. I mean, I'll take this. This is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, yeah. I know that was one of the issues that you had the previous times that we've talked. You mentioned that you wanted 5H to be a little bigger so that far slash 5H was a little more consistent. But I think with this, does far slash Estus work from every range now? I don't think that was the thing before, right?
Nah, it doesn't. No.
Oh, okay, so it's still okay.
But you know, and like that's you know, I think what they gave her now, I'm not really asking too much for that anymore. I don't really want 5H to be like that anymore because the Estus changed a lot of her combo routing. She gets more damage, so she's more consistent. And like if they want far slash, they want this move to be just like a poke, like a counter hit Fisher. Like oh,
Yeah.
like you use this button specifically to just to stuff opponents, and you're not really expected to really get pressure like mid-screen pressure or a normal hit combo. That's fine. I'll live with that because she's stronger in other aspects. Like she's already pretty good here, right? I just kind of wanted her to get this because like at the time the character power level was much higher than it was now. Like
Yeah.
you got you know Gold Lewis, Pa, obviously all these characters were like pretty strong. So I was like, you know what? And Johnny like oh like these characters are like converting like into Wild Soul
Yeah.
like full screen. It's like hey like you know, I would like to at least get, you know, a little some love here. But since they took a lot of that aspect out, at least on block and stuff like that, but it makes this not as important in a way. At least so far, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Talk to me a little bit about Artemis. So I think the last times we've talked, you've always mentioned that one of Millia's weaknesses was her on block pressure without meter was just not great in general. And the Artemis change, I'm curious to how that affects that and just our game plan overall. Curious, yeah.
Yeah. So this changes a lot because they shrunk they made it like when it comes out and her hurt box is shrunk. It's you could still 6P like characters like Sin, they could still 6P like if you just hold down back. Like shit like this, like you're gonna have to, you can always 6P this, but some characters are not as luxury to have Sin's 6P in this situation. Like if you watch me versus Jack that TNS ago, he would try to 6P it. Chaos's 6P is kind of lackluster, and even though he was right, he would just invuln through my Artemis. He wouldn't even hit me, and it would just be like, I don't even know if I was plus or not. I actually need to like check that, but in those situations, depending on the character 6P, it's a lot harder to 6P this character. And people that were struggled versus Artemis in general, they're gonna struggle even more. Like you're gonna have to learn how to deal with this move. Pretty much what the change is telling you, like what to do. Like, cause like even on normal hit, like if I hit you this, you know, I get like a cheeky safe jump left right. Or like if I hit you and counter hit, right? I don't know if I could change that, right? Like I can get like a full screen wall break from this, right? Right? Full screen wall break, meterless. So if you do not know how to deal with this move, and you were getting poked before, like you know, pre-patch when this used to counter hit you, she got like maybe like a close slash, like something like this, right? But now she's full screen wall breaking you with mad damage behind it. Yeah. So it's basically just like, oh, you need to learn how to deal with this move properly, type of thing.
Okay,
it's overall a lot better though. It's like I mean, the fact that you're comboing like that is pretty good.
Yeah. I think Artemis was a move. I think when it came out, I think I don't know, it seemed I'm not gonna say unfinished, but it seemed like just a strict combo tool when most people thought it would be more of a pressure tool for the most part. I think now, or I think you can agree, it's now kind of playing both categories now.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is really good. I don't know if she exactly needed it, but you know.
You know, it's like even in neutral too, like I sometimes, depending on the situation, like it's almost like a back Mega Fist in a way. Like let's say I whiff something here and then I think you're gonna be slow on the whip punish, or you might try to do something, I might like be able to poke certain normals like this. And then even on normal hit, the fact that, you know, I get, you know, this sort of setup, right? I just delay the air dash to go same side. Right, something like cheeky like this that, you know, offline on PS4 Pro could be pretty difficult to block. But yeah, I mean, I think there's still like a lot of applications. I think it is better on block. It's a lot harder to 6P. Obviously, it's still fantastic for combos. Honestly, that's probably the best thing. It's still like its main utility. It's like the combos that she gets off of it are pretty insane. And the crazy thing is too, like they go perfectly in sync. I feel like these moves go in sync. Like the fact that this didn't exist before. Like a quick thing before we dive in more into detail with Estus, why the combos are better and the situations are better. Like this existing and Artemis flowing here, this is like a true H-Dis setup here that she got from a normal hit, and then she could get this too from just this. Let's say like you're right here. Okay, I fucked it up. But she has more setups to set up the Artemis wall bounce. So Artemis got buffed in that way too, because it flows more into her combos because of the Estus change.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it. They really hate your character, right? I think I can't remember who it was, and someone started the, the early who's top 5 discussion after the patch. I think it was like King Java or something like that. He was like, I think I had like Abba and Millia and like HC, and then like maybe Kai and someone else or something, right? And it's one of those things you kind of just laugh it off, but a lot of people interact with it. A lot of people are like, dude, Millia and Abba broken top 5, so
yeah.
What okay. First I'll ask you. I mean, I don't really know. Obviously, I don't think you believe she's a top 5 character. I think you think she's strong, but I mean, obviously flawed and loses some matchups here and there. What do you think about maybe the statement that she's like the scrubbiest character in the game?
I think like in lower levels, yeah. I mean, she has like a lot of like even in like top level play where she can gotta get away with some like stuff is not so meaty, so she can get like a cheeky crossover. But at the same time, she has some really like real mix. Yeah. Like that you cannot deal with. Like for example, like you see me do this versus Jack. Like, this is same side, right? And typically at this range, right? If I do instant, this is cross. So the only way I can get this air dash here is if I wanted to cross, I would have to do instant air dash, but I could do instant air dash in the same side. So like she has like a lot of real shit. And I don't think she's the scrubbiest at all. I think she might be at like mid, like gold, like we have to, we're talking about ranks like gold, plat. She's like super strong. And yeah, there's like a lot of Vanquisher Millias, and I think diamond players still fall for it. I think a lot of Vanquisher players still fall for like the basic like Millia stuff. But I don't think she's the scrubbiest character. I think though if you really want to excel with her, that's why there's not like a lot of like, I feel every time I enter TNS and I'm actually trying, I consistently get like top 5. I mean, I've been playing this character for the longest time, and I don't think she's the scrubbiest. I think it's so hard. Like, yeah, she has all these movement tools and stuff like that. It takes a lot of trial and error how to properly move with this character and to understand like why. Like sometimes like I might get hit for going for this, or I might get air thrown, or I might get etc. etc. It's like, okay, like what is my opponent giving up to stop this, and how can I abuse that knowledge, the fact that they're trying to stop this certain option, how can I mix them up on my approach on that? So it's like it's pretty discouraging. Like I have a lot of Millia players come in my chat and they're asking like, basic movement or like how to approach with her and stuff like that. And when she's up close to you like this, you're not going to be reacting to her. Like, yeah, you can have like a read and air throw me here or 6P me, but are you going to be ready for this, or me do nothing? Depending on the situation. But yeah, I don't not at all. I don't think she's the scrubbiest character in this game. I mean, I think the scrubbiest character in this game is Happy Chaos. That character is scrub incarnate.
Amen.
Like,
amen.
Like, if you want, like, on a quick note, like, if you want to be having godlike offense, you want to be able to open up top players, like, right away, on block, play that character. And you will go far. If you want
to make it to the top very fast,
for sure.
He's the character for you. Yeah, no, and that's actually a good point that you did mention, because she actually is the highest vanquishing character in the game in terms of the amount of players in that rank. Her and Slayer, I believe. And Slayer, when he released, I'm not sure if you remember, but everyone, like, I think top 100, like, usually, like, for, like, rating update back in the day, if you were at the lower end of, like, the top 100, usually it was a very low mark you have to make. But I think, like, the number 100 and, like, lower Slayers were actually, like, most characters, like, top 10, top 20 elo.
Really?
Yeah. So
I knew he was busted for sure, but I didn't actually know, like, even the top, like, number 99 Slayer was cooking. Damn.
Yeah, number 99 Slayer was, like, top 3 Testament, for example, right? And now we don't really have those ranks anymore, but now instead we have the Strive rank, we have Vanquisher. And Millia is kind of playing that. Millia and Slayer are now still playing those roles of, characters that are, and I think that kind of just goes off like the scrub factor. Like gold, like the scrubbiest thing in the world, right? But, she also doesn't have like her top players aren't like the highest numbers in the world. There's just a lot of players in said rank.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing people need to realize. Like, if you go look at Happy Chaos, for example, like, I'm pretty sure his top 5 ranks are, like, gonna blow Millia's out the waters, for example.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I'm not, like, surprised at all, like, when I saw, like, Vanquisher, like, that many, just because, like, this character, she has a lot of knowledge checks, and she has a lot of very real things, real mix on top of that. So it could be really confusing to be ready for both, and then obviously knowing how to swap the fly properly too. Right?
Yeah.
So like I'm not surprised, and also I'm not surprised Slayer. There's a lot of Slayers because Slayer's just
Slayer.
just doing a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's just doing shit on the screen, like kind of killing you for it at times. Yeah. What about, so for Millia, what do you think that, I mean, she's received buffs to, you know, multiple aspects of her kit. Do you think now is like, and I think the main issue with her that a lot of people have is Capel, right? I think we've talked about this before. The central part of her kit, the main part of her kit that allows her to be her is Capel. Do you think Capel now is too strong, considering how strong the rest of her kit is now? You know, now that it's, you know, come around to be more complete. You know, like her on-block pressure is better, her combos are better, you know, damage is better, you know, the game has, the power level has fallen. Funny enough, I think for this patch, they were gonna nerf and dial down on some of the scrubby shit like Sin had, like this, for example.
Yeah.
I thought Capel was gonna get nerfed slightly, but it didn't. Do you think that maybe that move is too strong now, considering where she is, or you think it's just right? Kind of curious on your opinion.
I like, if I had to say, like, unbiased aside, I would say, like, if I had to tip it in the scale, it's definitely on the too strong side, but like barely. Like, it's a really, really good move, honestly. And they changed, like, if you don't have a DP, like I was saying, it changed like a lot of like the way she pressures, like shit like this existing, and the fact that even this like existing, like this being a true combo, like this really bad IDJH normally, right? She can like pre-patch, she had to do something like this to get like something meaningful, but now she's just in your face doing this shit right here, right? So like, I think it's very good. I think I had to think about it for a while if it was better than old version, and I do think it's better than old version. That being said, they should bring back the launching properties and keep on the same recovery it has. That would be insane. Okay, I was just joking about that, but no, I think it's very good. I don't want it to be gone, but because I really like it. Obviously, right? Like obviously, like that's like saying like, for, you know, not that these are like comparable or anything. Like Sin RTLing and wall breaking from almost everywhere. Like you know, like it's you know, it's good. It's very good. It's a fucking good aspect. Honestly, they took away a lot of like what you could do on defense compared to the last version. Like this situation, like this is like a pretty messed up situation because even there's nothing you can do offensively. If you're blocking this ID Capel here, like there's nothing you can do to stop the JH unless it's backdash. And even if you backdash, I think you're like -6. I don't think she can punish you, but you're still not in a very good spot. And it's hard to kind of backdash just consistently depending on the character you play too on top of that. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's a very strong move.
little too strong, question mark, or?
I mean, the fact that I even have to like think about it, right, kind of gives you an answer in itself, right? So, I mean, that's kind of gives you your answer. I mean, it's crazy that she could do this too. Like, Jesus Christ! Like, even if you block this, you're gonna eat this high low afterwards. Like,
yeah, I mean,
insane.
I think this is my only gripe with. I think one of my gripes with Millia. I think well, first I'll start with I think a lot of people come together and say, oh, well, you know, when she just does all this uninteractable stuff and blah blah blah, right? I think people need to realize that sadly in this game, Happy Chaos does the same thing she'll do in the air, but you're in blocks the whole time, right? I don't think people realize that. I think Millia does a little too much damage, just a little too much damage, just a little. You know, the conversions are crazy. She does Dude, she is like last patch sin combos, but in the air, bro. I don't know how she does it. I think she just does a little too much damage. That's my gripe. I wish it was a little less rewarding for when you're wrong, or you know, like you try to punish her, like challenge her, and then you end up getting hit. I just think the damage could be a little, just a little, you know, just a little less.
I mean, it got buffed this version.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you want to like see like an air sin combo, like you're talking about, I know you're talking about like jump. Just jump real quick. Fuck. Do it again. Fuck. Okay. But yeah, like she gets like a full screen wall break, and that happened because of the Capel change. So like, there's a lot of things that.
Yeah, I mean, Capel is it's a very good move.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm fine with her keeping the identity of like a mixed character and her having shit where it's like, damn, you know, you just gotta hold that. That's fine. I just think her damage is a little high, but I don't think it's not like illegally high. Like, it's not like Happy Chaos before where you get shot and then you just die. Like, it's not comparable to that. What about the change to YRC? Talk to me a bit about that. I know Millia's not okay. I think better Millia's. We'll basically just talk about you. Rat doesn't play the game like that, but you don't really use YRC too much. You obviously lean more towards trying to jump out and, you know, you look for that. But when you do YRC, like, you know, maybe you just have to spend it. You don't, you know. Yeah. Talk to me a bit about it. I think for her, it's like, you know, when you YRC a character like Millia, like if I'm in the corner, for example, and I use my YRC, it feels like essentially you're still plus here.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that.
Yeah, like when she's using YRC, I was never like a big fan of using YRC unless I had like 100 or like in a situation. Like if you were on me like pre-patch, it was pretty broken for her because I mean you're guard crush right in front of me and I have another bar. I can 50-50 you or grab you and, you know, win the game off that. But I would only really YRC on those situations just because this character, especially if you're fighting really, really good players, you need to be greedy with your meter. You need to save your meter to get that bad moon.
Yeah.
So I was never really a fan. I think depending on the character, like if I YRC you here, like if you just like make me block.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's like she's pretty good here. Like she has enough time to get out like this, right? And that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
But other characters doing to her, I think she's pretty safe, honestly. I do like this change. Like she's pretty hard to like contest her, like because you gotta be ready to stop her jump. You gotta be ready for her to like maybe throw out like a 6P if you think you're gonna throw out like a far slash, stuff like that. I think it's overall better for her, the YRC changes. I never used it too much anyways, unless I was talking about that situation I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I guess it's more character dependent, but I think overall it's pretty good for her. I do like it. Like, and she had like a lot of strings, especially in this version, where if you YRC'd her, depending on how comfortable you are, like a lot of people like would try to like YRC the Capel or like YRC after I land, or like they would YRC and I would be doing 6H or I'd be in the air like already to bad moon, and she got YRC'd here, she would be in the air. And that's like completely useless. Obviously, if you block YRC in the air, like you're a pretty good spot. But I mean, the fact that it's kind of less important for her on like now on grounded YRC, it's pretty good for her. Okay. I would say.
Now that we're also at the point where people are saying this character is broken as hell, I think I've asked you in the past videos as well, but what is something that, I mean, again, since she's considered stronger than she was the previous two versions, what is something that maybe you've heard, like some complaint about Millia where you're just like, bro, like, what is this guy talking about? Like, just, you know, like, maybe something people misunderstand about the character currently.
So, like, people, like, complaints about her that kind of, like...
Yeah.
Like, oh, like, you're kind of like a scrub or something like that.
Yeah.
I think when people say it's like hard to stop her from like jumping in the air like this, I think there's like a method to the madness. But when I fight Millia players, even when I'm not Millia and like Chip or something, like a good strat, and it sucks that you have to do this, but if you're like dealing with like an air dash spam Millia or like doing this, like you have to give the respect like you have to be looking for this. Like a common Millia strat, right? They whiff a button into instant air dash. Like you're gonna have to respect that air dash, and you need to be ready to deal with it, and you need to have good damage behind it. So when she does stuff like this, you are you're getting 1,000,000 damage for it. And typically Millias that are like where you have to swallow the time, this is pretty much their whole game plan. Like they're not gonna know how to play footsies. They're not gonna know how to use their 2Ks, their run of far slash, play this range effectively. So if you can shut this down and really like focus on shutting this down with good damage behind it, you essentially won already, because they're gonna be scared. They're not gonna have good far slashes versus you. This is all they're looking for. So when people complain about I suck at it's her air game, or IADJH or something like that. Yeah, it could be good in tangent if they know how to play like the ground game and know how to use far slash and the whole RPS that Millie could do on you. But if you need to just be really good at shutting down that part, and then most Millia players that rely on that, who only know how to do that, will definitely just crumble.
I agree.
But it's hard. But it's something you're gonna have to practice.
Danger.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I do think if you're able to shut down just again, she's the highest Vanquisher character in the game. Like those, but a lot of those dudes don't really understand. They're good around playing with her strengths, but really bad around playing with her when they're playing without it, for the most part. Mm-hmm. So once you make them scared, I do think that it's pretty easy to just steamroll them and make them crumble from there.
But I do think though, like I see a lot of that even at a like super high level like Millia play, like tournament. Yeah. I would watch other Millia players and I would never see them like get like a counter at far slash, like maybe once the whole 3 out of 5. But to me, that's saying that they're just looking to play this part of the game too much. They're not looking to stuff you. They're not looking to call out Elcon, like for example if I was fighting you. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, they're not looking to stuff. I'm trying to stuff your far slash with my faster far slash. Like I'm not seeing them play that part. So it's like kind of telling, like if you can shut down that part, then you're pretty much good. But if you're fighting a really good Millia where you have to deal with this broken button and then everything else, and on top of this it could be really frustrating.
Yeah. So would that be your answer to the question of what separates you from you and Rat when he did play the game, or even you currently? What separates you from other Millia players? Why is there such a big gap right there? Like maybe some, you watch other, like you said, you watch other Millia players and you're just like, I don't understand. Like, why aren't you doing this? Or why do you do this so much? Or why do all you guys just, crush on this? Like, what is, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I did touch up on that, but I think a lot of it is they're not good at playing the ground game too much anymore. They're not really good at like focusing. That's why I feel like a lot of Millia players hate fighting Kai. Mm-hmm. When I love fighting Kai and I have a pretty good record of fighting Kai. I don't think I've lost to a Kai in tournament in maybe like a season and a half ago. And it's because like that is the true test of like, okay, like I could play this part of Millia. The run up 2Ps, the instant air dashes, the IED Capels. But can you read Danny's, or can you read any Kai players, like when they want to swing, and are you ready to swing your button and not be scared and and cash out on this, and get a counter hit for this? So knowing how to use your ground buttons like really well, not just talking about far slash or 2P, 2K, and also not do nothing at the same time, depending on the situation. If you have meter, and obviously the game changes all the time depending on the situation. I think that I think their burst management, I feel like a lot of them have pretty bad bursts, maybe it's because they're not so confident on defense. And even though I'm saying all this is all subject to change, right? This is what I currently think. It's not like, oh, if I'm saying that they're bad at this part, that they're going to stay bad like this forever. At the same time, this is their job, depending on what their goals are, that, like they could get better at this, right? It's not set in stone. Danger. So this is like stuff that maybe they should work on. It's like, and it takes like a lot of game knowledge, because like one of the hardest things and most fun things about this game is how you use bursts, having a good burst. And obviously there's very obvious moments where you need to burst. Like if I got counter hit by Sin, close slash, I'm gonna burst, right? Yep. But that might not be the same thing. Danger. You might not want to burst that same hit if you have a life lead, or if you're in positive, or if Sin has no food or meter. So I think they just don't really have a lot of good bursts. And I probably think that is almost as equal in importance as having a ground game, because this is a character that has low health, and if you're not greedy with your burst, like you see me fight like Danny or any other character, not Danny, Jack, and depending on the character, like sometimes I'm greedy for my burst. Like I want to see if they can open me up and then if they do open me up, that's knowledge for me. Like, okay, they like to go for this certain offense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna burst now, and now I have the knowledge. Okay, like this is how they kind of like to play, and I was able to get that knowledge on how they like to run offense in this, at least in this situation, and then burst them and then play neutral on top of that. So I think those are probably the two things. And I watched Lane play versus Nitro that one tournament. I was like, damn, they're doing some real mix, and they are doing everything pretty properly, at least for that version of the game. And also Kevin is really good. There's like a lot of melee players, they need to like get practice in doing this unfuzzable high-low properly, like doing the car cancel JS right here, and then getting the 2-frame low on the JD. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, there's just some Millia players, I think, in mix factor. Lane is probably, they definitely have the best mix. Like if they had to compare it to mine,
yeah,
because my mix is pretty real. I mean, that's a pretty important part. Make sure your mix is real, at least when you're fighting the top. Even simple things like this, where like this range, where this is cross, right? Like, okay, after the 2D, after the 2D, hold cross, right? Right, this is like same side.
Okay, yeah.
So like this can win you games doing this. Yeah. And it's a very simple thing. Like, and I tell melee players to do this all the time. Like, this is, yeah, that's cross now, right? It's like, okay, like now, like this is same side. Yeah. And this is unseeable. This is like true mix, unless you deflect shield OS. And even if you deflect shield OS and I do turbo fall, I'm right in front of your face. So yeah, like I get to run something at least. Okay. But yeah, I would say that all those three. And it's very hard to get good at, especially the first part. I think that takes a lot of experience. Like you would know, like you're pretty good. You would know what it takes to have like a good burst. How you burst it really does matter how you burst, depending on the situation.
See, this is why I love this fellow Mark, bro. Bro, so there's some overrated ass Millia players out there, bro. So
yeah, I mean, you know, a little bit, but like I said before, even if this is the case now, people are getting better all the time.
Of course.
This could change. They could get better, right? And that's what I want, ultimately.
Of course. Millia's, I think one thing that kind of separates you guys is, you know, like, obviously you're a jumper and on defense, but you know when to to use your mash. And she's the 4-framer, and that's pretty good. Very privileged. And one of the, like, for example, when we played this set on TNS, one of the things oh my gosh, dude, it makes me so sad. So I would do this, and then I would do the follow-up as well. And then after the follow-up, I would do 2K6H, and there's a gap there. And you would basically hold me hostage in my own pressure, and I just rage.
It's like little things like that could change. Like,
exactly, of course.
How you play.
Yeah, I think realizing when to use your mash, kind of like when you're saying, realizing when you need to play on the ground and cash out on your ward, and not being afraid to contest buttons like Kaya /, for example. I think those things go a long way. I think, I guess I'll ask the last thing, the same thing as always. Any advice for anyone wanting to pick up this character now? I'm not sure if your answer has changed too much from back then. I can't really remember what you said, but off the dome, if you had to give some advice to someone pick up the character and pass, you know, in this new whatever season this is, I don't really know what to call it. Season 5? I don't really know.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would say if you're like pretty new to her, that you should be kind of easier on yourself, because like I was saying earlier, the way you move with the character takes like a lot of trial and error. And even when you're getting owned and you're getting called out, you might not know why or how to stop it, or maybe what you need to do more. And Millia is a low health character. It could be pretty demoralizing when you're falling like this, and there's a Slayer underneath. He counter hit close slash you, and he kills you for all your health. You could be like what the fuck, like, and now you're scared. So you should be easy on yourself in that aspect, because she's a pixie. When you're gonna make, you're new to the game, you're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna feel extra painful on this character, but obviously it's worth it, and it's a lot of fun when you know how to do all that bullshit in the air. Another thing too is, I think I did talk about this real quick, like when you play a fast character in this game, when you approach from this range, you're obviously reactable, but if you're up close like here in the scramble situation, like if Kai, like for example, if I was Kai and you're still Sin and we don't have any meter here, you could kind of like react and whip punish, like, you know, be ready. But when Millia's here, she can attack you like this, jump over your attack, 2k. So you need to be good at switching your approach.
Yeah.
And Millia is a character where she does attack you with her face. Like this, I can't be beaten by doing this. Domi could 6p me here, and if he does, that's good on him that he was ready for that. Now I need to focus on doing other things, like maybe like a run of 2k, or maybe do nothing too. Do nothing. You can't be afraid of not doing nothing either. So you need, and also you should watch me. Watch me on twitch.tv, Walter SSB. I'm always streaming all the time. I mean, just copy me. That's what I just copied LK. I watch him all the time, copied his combos, see what he tried to do in approach. And then when you get good enough yourself, from copying me, you're gonna add your own gameplay. You're not gonna just be a clone.
Of course.
You're gonna be a clone at first, but after when you're and, you know, take it with pride, you're gonna be a Walter clone. But then you start being good yourself. You don't need to. You know, you would look different.
Of course, and as always, I will plug Walter's Twitch. I'll put it on the screen. If you see this video, I mean, everyone that watched this probably already follows him, because I get all the Millia players in the comments talking about, man, Walter, man, the guy right here. So I'll put Walter's Twitch on the screen as always. He's always streaming. Go check him out. I'll put his Discord on the screen as well if you want to go shoot him a DM. But most of the time, you just go on his Twitch and just ask him a question there. He'll answer it. And then I'll put his Twitter on the screen as well. Go follow him on Twitter if you haven't already.
Sweet. That's good.
But yeah, this is number 3. Thank you, Walter, for coming on once again. And
no problem, bro.
Until next time.
Super fun.